Mindful Moments. Mental Health Podcast.
Hey everyone, welcome to the episode The Anxiety Journal, a guide to self-discovery and healing. I'm Goran, and I'm here with my co-host, the lovely Tara.
Hey Goran, I'm excited for us to dive into this journey together, helping people not only manage their anxiety, but truly transform their lives through journaling. Today we're breaking down how journaling can be a superpower for mental health. So why journaling? Goran, did you know that putting your thoughts on paper can actually calm your brain down?
Yeah, I read somewhere that when you write, you're engaging parts of your brain that help process emotions. I think it's about slowing down that anxiety spiral.
Exactly. And what I love about this book is that it's not just about venting your emotions. It's about self-discovery, healing, and building resilience.
For people who are new to journaling, it can feel intimidating, right? Like, where do you even start? But the book makes it so easy with its guided prompts.
Totally. And one thing I found useful is that it encourages you to drop perfectionism. It's about being real with yourself, not writing a masterpiece. If you're feeling stuck, the guided prompts are a lifesaver. Okay, listeners, it's time for us to actually try one of the prompts from the book. Here's one that's great if you're feeling anxious. Take a moment to reflect on a recent situation that triggered your anxiety. What were your initial thoughts and feelings? How did your body react? Now list 3 ways you could approach this situation differently if it happens again. What actions can you take to calm yourself in the moment?
Wow, that's deep. It's not just about the moment, but thinking ahead. What can I do differently next time?
Exactly. If you're listening and feel up for it, pause the episode, try the prompt, and see what comes up for you. You'll be surprised by how much clarity you can get.
It's not just about writing, though, right? The book also talks about how important it is to take care of your body and mind with things like meditation, exercise, and sleep.
Yes, they really nailed the connection between physical and mental health. Journaling can definitely help you process, but pairing that with self-care practices makes the healing even stronger. So, Goran, one of the things I've found really helpful when journaling for anxiety is incorporating some calming self-care techniques before I even pick up the pen. For me, it's all about getting into the right headspace, and that starts with my breath. I know it sounds simple, but a few minutes of focused breathing before journaling can do wonders.
That's a great point. Breathing is such a basic but powerful way to calm your mind. How do you actually do it? Is it like deep breathing, or do you use a specific technique?
Yeah, so there's this technique I use called box breathing. It's super easy. You breathe in for 4 counts, hold for 4, breathe out for 4, and hold again for 4. Doing that cycle for just a couple of minutes really helps me feel grounded, and it gets rid of that buzzing anxiety in my chest. I try to focus on how my body feels in the moment, just tuning into the present.
That's interesting. It's almost like you're resetting your nervous system before diving into the emotional stuff.
Exactly. It puts me in a calm, focused space where I can be honest with myself without feeling overwhelmed. So once I'm settled, I grab my journal, and it feels a lot easier to let the words flow. I think it's key to have that moment of stillness before diving into something as introspective as journaling. If you're listening and want to try this, I'd recommend setting a timer for just 3 to 5 minutes. Do the box breathing, or even just slow, deep breaths if that feels better to you. As you breathe, notice how you're feeling. Are you tense, anxious? Use that awareness as a starting point for your journal entry. You can write about what came up for you in those few moments of stillness.
I love that approach, Tara. For me, I've found that moving my body before journaling makes a huge difference. Like, if I'm really anxious or stressed, I can't just sit down and write. I need to burn off that nervous energy first.
Yes, totally. I know so many people who need to physically release that tension before they can focus.
Exactly. I've been into taking a quick walk or even doing a few minutes of yoga before I sit down to journal. There's something about moving, even if it's just walking around the block, that clears my head. It helps me feel less stuck in that anxious loop and more in tune with my body.
That's such a good point. Movement can break the mental tension. How do you feel after those walks?
Usually lighter, more centered. It's like I'm shaking off all the pent-up anxiety. Afterward, when I sit down to write, I feel like I can actually think clearly instead of being trapped in my head. And if I don't have time for a full walk, I'll just do some stretches, like shoulder rolls, neck stretches, or even just shaking out my arms. It sounds silly, but it works.
That's awesome. I think the beauty of this is that it's really about tuning in to what your body needs before you start writing. You're setting yourself up for success by creating a calm, receptive state, whether that's through breathing or movement.
If you're someone who feels restless or anxious before journaling, try getting up and moving for 5 to 10 minutes. It doesn't have to be intense. Take a short walk, stretch, or do some light yoga. Focus on how your body feels during the movement. Are you carrying tension anywhere? Afterward, use your journal to reflect on that. How does your body feel now compared to before you moved? What thoughts came up during the walk or stretches?
Yeah, and you don't need to overcomplicate it. Just pay attention to how movement shifts your mental state and use that as fuel for your journaling. So, what's cool about all of this, Goran, is that the journaling process can become part of a larger self-care routine. It's not just about sitting down to write, it's about listening to your body, mind, and emotions holistically.
Totally. For me, the combination of movement and journaling has been huge. It's not just about getting thoughts out of my head, but about connecting with how I'm feeling physically too. And when you add something like breathing or meditation like you do, it creates this full circle experience of healing.
Absolutely. Journaling is just one tool, and when you pair it with practices like breathing, movement, or even mindfulness, you're giving yourself a much deeper sense of release and calm.
It's like you're stacking tools to really take care of yourself, both mentally and physically. And that's one of the things the book emphasizes. Healing from anxiety isn't just about addressing your thoughts, but about nurturing your whole self.
For those of you listening who want to take it a step further, try combining your journaling with another mindful activity, like a short meditation or even aromatherapy. Light a calming candle or use essential oils while you write. It can help set the mood and make the practice more enjoyable.
And for those who need to move, set up a journaling space that feels open. Maybe journal after a walk in the park, or even sit outside with your journal in nature. These little things can make your journaling practice feel more like self-care and not just another task to check off your list.
The main takeaway here is that self-care and journaling go hand in hand. Whether it's breathing, moving, or simply creating a calm space, you're building a routine that supports your mental health on multiple levels.
Yeah, journaling isn't just about words on a page. It's about creating a whole environment that helps you heal. So experiment with what works for you, and don't be afraid to mix things up.
So Goran, what's your biggest takeaway from today's episode?
For me, it's that journaling doesn't have to be this huge task. It's small steps. Even writing a few sentences can start healing that inner dialogue.
Exactly. And remember, every entry is a step toward a calmer version of yourself. In the next episode, we'll dive into the topic of tracking your progress. How do you stay motivated and keep going, especially on tough days? Trust me, you don't want to miss that one.
Thanks for listening, everyone. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe and share it with someone who might need some journaling inspiration.
And if you tried today's journal prompt, let us know. Reach out to us on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, or send us an email. We'd love to hear how it went.
Until next time, keep writing and keep healing.